think if it wasn't for this sermon, I'd be dead today, and I'm not even playing. Like, I would have literally been dead today.
I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive.
Hi guys, it's Tori. Welcome back. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, thank you so much for clicking to watch this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. So I haven't done a sit and just talk with me in a minute, and I'm so excited for this particular sit and talk with me video. And by the end of this video, I hope I come up with the title, and also I hope that you guys get encouraged to keep going in one or two ways. So the past 2 weeks or so, I've been all over the place, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, and all aspects of life. You mention it, I've been going through it. I've had major panic attacks, major anxieties, and just fear and comparison issues and depression, and it's been like the worst 2 weeks of my life. Even though low-key I know it's built up to this moment because it just didn't happen like in 2 weeks and I'm like, oh, I'm depressed and I'm sad. I know like there has been events in just life that have led me to feeling like this, and it's been a long time coming, but finally, just like it was like a volcano, you just can't take it anymore. And yesterday was about to be my giving up moment because I couldn't take it, guys. I couldn't take life. I couldn't take anything. Everything was just putting so much pressure on me to give up. Honestly, I felt like all lines were just like, you can't do life anymore. It's high time you just give up. And I remember being on campus yesterday and like literally tears in my eyes were just like rolling. I'm like, I can't cry. I'm at school. My dad was dropping me off. It started with my dad. My dad was dropping me off. And while we're in the car, he's like, why aren't you seated in the front? I'm like, I just really want to go to the back and sleep. And I literally slept, and we're listening to Radio Christian Voice and all these like praise and worship songs, and tears were just rolling out of my eyes. And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine. He's like, no, if you're not fine, it's okay for you to go home and miss school. And I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm just really, really tired. And I was really, really tired. That was not a lie. I go to school and I'm so overwhelmed by emotions. None of my friends is there. I'm literally by myself. To be fair, I'm never really by myself unless I choose to be, like when I'm at school. So for the first time, I'm like by myself. Well, maybe not the first time, but I'm by myself. I'm going through TikTok and everything is so depressing. Everything is about love and relationships and depression and how people just in case they lose their battle to depression, and that makes me even more depressed. I go to Instagram and as usual the Instagram social pressure comes in. It's like, oh, I need to do this, maybe if I was this. The comparison comes in and my life at that moment just sucks. So I'm literally at school by myself and tears about to fall from my eyes. I just can't. It's finally time for class. One of my friends comes. This is like my favorite person on earth right now, and I talk to him and like literally again tears are about to drop. I'm like, I just don't even know what I feel. I just know that I'm feeling a certain type of way and I can't really locate what's making me sad, but I am really sad and I can't take it. And I'm like, the fact that I'm even at school right now is like still mind blowing on how I dragged myself out of bed today, because I was like, I can't. School is over. For a split second though, like we're seated together and I forget that there is all these things that are going on in life right now, because it's funny, we're having class, we're cracking jokes, people are making mistakes or asking very, very funny questions or just cracking jokes, and it's funny. For a split second I forget that. It's time to go home. I go home and I get on a bus. The pressure comes in and I'm like, I just need to get home right now and not deal with this anymore for the last time. I just really can't, and I'm about to give up on life at that point. So I'm on YouTube watching a video. I'm like, I'm just going to scroll through and watch something that's either going to make me laugh but not something that's going to make me depressed. I delete TikTok and I delete Instagram because I'm like, I feel so much pressure from these social apps yesterday particularly, I was like, I just really can't, because everything is pointing to the situation that I'm going through and making it known that there is people that are going through this, but then none of it is pointing to a solution to what I'm going through. And I'm like, yeah, no. So I'm on a bus. I open my YouTube. I'm like, I just need to watch something that's gonna crack me up or something like that. Something that's just gonna keep me distracted for this little time as I drive from school to home. And voila, God is like a God of miracles. So there is this preacher called Robertson. I don't know if you guys have heard of her. I'm going to put the video that I'm about to talk about in the description link below. I used to watch this girl so much, this woman so much, and at the point when I was like at my lowest, this was my saving grace, because she just revived me back to Christ through like her sermons and whatnot. And I haven't been recommended of her videos in like, I think over a year, because I used to listen to her sermons like last year, but I haven't been recommended to her videos, or at least I wasn't attentive enough to like her posts. And I open YouTube and I see her video pop up, and I'm like, you know what, was once my saving grace, maybe she could be my saving grace again. I opened the video, not really in the mental state of this is gonna change me in any way, but just out of boredom, because I just need to go home right now, guys. I'm like, I just need to go home. So I open the video, and voila, this video is talking about who do you identify with. And then the title of the video was, Are You an Influencer? And I'm there, I'm watching, I'm paying so much attention, and I swear, God works in the most mysterious ways, because for the past week or two, nothing ever gave me motivation. Nothing, not even a motivational quote kept me going. And if you know me very well, I'm full of motivational quotes. And I open it and I'm listening to this sermon step by step. This sermon was life-changing. I think if it wasn't for this sermon, I'd be dead today, and I'm not even playing. Like, I would have literally been dead today. And I'm watching this sermon, and it's talking about who do you identify with. So I wrote some of the things that I literally took out on the bus. I took out a paper and a pen, and I just started writing down everything that she was saying. And one of the questions was, who do you identify with? She talked about how she put up a poll on her Instagram and asked this very question, who do you identify with? And a lot of people say no, they identify with their friends or with what, everything else that makes them who they are. And she said that was interesting. But then the other interesting part was that some people were saying, I identify in God and what He says I am. I'm literally what God says I am. But a lot of people say, I'm what God says I am. And in the midst of all that, it's not really from your heart. So you might say, I identify with what God says I am. But if you're being asked, do you feel loved? You're going to say, I don't feel loved. Are you secure? You're going to say, I don't feel secure. Do you still struggle with comparisons? I still struggle with comparisons. And at that moment, I was like, that is me. Because I'm like, I'm a child of God. I'm a Christian, guys. I read the Bible twice a day. I literally try by all means to be just Christ-like, and I pray and I do this and I do that. But in this period of time of like me and my suffering and my anxiety and my depression, I couldn't say I identify with God. And even though I knew that God is there, and I've time and time again told myself that you're a child of God and you're created in His own image, I still didn't feel loved in the moment. I was depressed in the moment. I was insecure in the moment. I was sad in the moment. And I couldn't even like turn to the one who says, I love you and I care for you and I sustain you, and despite what you're going through, I am still your God, and all this is just but a phase. I've got a perfect plan for you. And in that moment I forgot. But when I heard that sermon, I was like, I am a child of God. Why do I feel insecure? Why do I feel depressed? Why do I feel like this? If I genuinely identify with Him, and I believe that I do identify with Him, then I shouldn't feel this way. And that sermon was so life-changing for me. And at that moment, I was like, I've been lying to myself when I said I identify with God. I've been lying to myself when I said I don't care what the world thinks because I'm a child of God, because I wasn't living the fact that I'm a child of God. I wasn't feeding my brain, my mind, and my soul to know that you're a child of God. And in Genesis, he says, I made you in my image. And at the moment, I'm like, if I'm created in his image, why am I depressed? If I'm created in his image, why am I having anxiety? Why can I even locate the cause for my sadness? And I literally was done with the sermon, and I was like, Lord, I'm sorry. Because all this time I've been saying, I know you and I love you. But all this time, I haven't allowed you to just work your way through my heart and take away this burden. I've been praying, but my prayers have not been sincere. I've been crying to you, but my cries have not been sincere. I've been crying to be identified by other people. I've been crying to be validated by a relationship. I've been crying to be validated by a friendship. And even in the moment when I was like, Lord, I want to know you and I want to know who you are, I wanted to know who I was in my friends, in my family, with other people. I wanted to know who I was through those people and not through you. So when I prayed, I was asking you to help these people validate me and add a value to me. But in all essence, that's not what I need. And this is the cause of all this pain and all these burdens that I'm going through today. And yeah, at that moment, I just go home and I was like crying hysterically. I locked my door and I was just like, Lord, I'm just sorry, honestly, that I was even on the verge of giving up. Because if really I identify with you, there is no way I'm gonna give up. And there is no way that, all this is just gonna happen for no apparent reason. It's been a lesson. My eyes have been opened. And I'm not here today lying to you guys and saying from today onwards, I'm just gonna be, secure and da-da-da-da. But I'm like, I know there is a God out there. And in the midst of the darkness, he's still God. In the midst of my depression, he's still God. And I know there is a lesson out of it. And the one thing that I have told myself is that it's not gonna be a smooth road. It's not gonna be smooth sailing. It's definitely gonna be hard. But in the midst of it all, I know there is gonna be a lesson after the storm. And it's definitely going to shine after the storm. The other thing she talked about, she was like, what you do privately makes you who you are publicly. And that was the first time I've heard this being said. I'm not gonna lie, there's probably people who've already heard this before, but it was the first time I was hearing this statement. And I figured if my walk with Christ is not right, guys, then my public life is not right. And in private, I've been praying, yes, but that has only affected my public life so much, because in as much as I was praying, as I said earlier, I wasn't praying for the right reason. I was praying for the wrong reason. So to me, I was like, I'm praying, but my heart was not pure in my prayer. My words were coming out right, but my heart wanted something different. And when she said that, I was like, it's high time I got to be one with Christ. It's high time I said, you know what, I just want you and only you. And whatever it is that you make me, even if you take people away from me, from my life, and even if people leave and even if people stay, I know that for a fact you're still God, and I'm not gonna let that affect me. The other thing, she talked about just being the distinction between being famous and being an influencer. She said the crazy thing is being famous is being known. It doesn't mean that you have any influence on any person. You can be famous because you're popular, but being an influencer is about having an influence on somebody's life, having an impact on somebody's life, and that's what distincts fame from influence. And I look at my journey on YouTube. I think I started off so well. At first, I would tell myself that it doesn't matter if there is 1,000 people that watch my videos or 10 people that watch my videos. What matters is I would rather have 10 people watch my video and me have like an impact on their life, rather than me having 1,000 people watch my videos and them not take what I say to heart. And for a split second, I had to go through my channel and I realized that most of my videos have not been so impactful. Before, I would do motivation and I would do all these things and just, speak about God, be proud that I know Him, and be proud that I'm able to share this side of life with any person, whether it's 2 or 3 people that are just capable of relating. And that would bring me so much satisfaction, just having the 1 comment, having the 3 likes, having the just somebody, maybe even my DMs, like my WhatsApp contacts, is be like, this is so good, like I'm so grateful that you shared because I was going through it. That would really mean a lot, and that's the reason why I kept on going. But then now there was this sudden pressure to just grow numbers, and I was like, I'm at 1K now, so hopefully I'm increasing my watch time hours, and all the content has been to increase my watch time and not really to the glory of God. And when she talked about the difference between fame and influence, I realized that what I was trying to gain was fame for these past like 6 months or a year, and not really being influential, because the main goal had left me. I literally left the trail of the main goal and just started going through the direction that everybody would rather go to. I'm not gonna lie and say I don't want to get monetized. I do. I'm not gonna lie and say I don't want to get to 10K subscribers. I do. But at the end of the day, now I'm like, I would rather have an impact on 1 person than have 1,000 people watch my videos just because it's something that's trending or because it's something that people would rather watch. I'd rather just impact you guys, if you're watching this, in a Christ-like way. That is what I want. I'd rather be influential than be famous. The other thing that she made me realize is that if you do right by Christ, all things fall into place. She gave an example of how people just followed Jesus. Jesus didn't have to scream on top of ways or walk around and say, I'm Jesus, but automatically through his deeds that were so true and right by God, people just followed him. That was how he created followers. He didn't have to have Instagram. He didn't have to have Facebook. He didn't need brands advertising him and saying, yo, there is Jesus out here. All he needed was speak the word of God and all things fell into place. And I've seen Christian YouTubers grow so much, and through the word of God, they've been so impactful in my life and on other people's lives. And I'm like, that is who I would rather be. And I'm a city on a hill, guys. So regardless, I know that there is a purpose for me. Maybe I'm not too sure, because I'm not always too sure about my purpose in life and the purpose that God has for me. But I'm just like, I'm going to trust him, and through his word, hopefully I discover my purpose. I've gone through this journey of finding purpose before. I'm going to link it to the description box as well, because I've done this video before at the time when I was lost. And I wasn't too sure if I found my purpose then, but I knew for a fact that there is something that God called me for. And yeah, so that's practically it for this video. I hope you guys learned 1 or 2 things. I didn't quote any scriptures because honestly I didn't plan on quoting any. I just wanted to give you guys a lesson that I learned. And to any other person out there that's on the verge of giving up today, I hope you run into this video and it be your saving grace in Jesus' name. I pray that all things go well for the teenagers out there suffering with depression or having to deal with depression and anxiety and panic attacks and everything else that just comes with being a young adult or a young person, and even just older people. Honestly, this video is for all of you guys. So if you're looking for a sign, I pray that God directs this sign to you. I love you, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I was really trying not to cry, but I think I'm gonna cry. So let's end this video here. Have an amazing week, and I hope God blesses you and touches your life.